The following is a transcript of a conversation between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am. Me. Speaking of constancy, yesterday you made me explain that the concept of detoxification of time referred to changing the perspective of the past, present, and future as times through which we move, towards a concept in which the 3 times are simple waves that cross us. In other words, the fact of remaining in the same place from the full consciousness of oneself makes us all axes of time instead of being carried by the tides of time. I am. Each reality can have different points of observation, and they will be fine, but each one will tell you something different depending on the state you are in. In the inner search, there is no truth, but integration of perspectives. So do not seek the truth as an ultimate end, but nourish yourself from its visions and projections. In this way, if you compare time as if it were an ocean, you can understand yourself as a boat dragged by the current, which can take you anywhere if you do not know how to navigate, or to your destination if you learn to use the currents. But on the other hand, you can imagine yourself as a small volcanic island in the middle of the ocean. That is, that the ocean crosses you. And in addition, you are able to transform it if you turn on and expand. Me. If I decide to be the ship, what would it entail? I am. Everyone must first learn to sail until they recognize that they can be an island. The natural state is to let yourself be beaten by the current. In this first stage of existence, people allow themselves to be influenced by time, dragged by the forces of the past. They do not own their present or future because they are determined by the forces that push from behind. Until one day, tired of being dragged, you decide to learn to navigate, to move through time, to build by taking advantage of your energy, to connect, to learn, to discover new horizons, new skills that you thought were hidden. To do this, you must look for other sailors who transmit their experience, so you know friends and teachers. You learn to transform yourself. This is tantamount to realizing that instead of letting ourselves be carried away by the forces of the past, we can learn to use them to our own advantage. You can't remove or erase waves and currents, but you can use them. Each new tool makes you more in the present, aware of what you do, and this will allow you to have the necessary capabilities to get out of the current when necessary and take advantage of the force of the sea to choose your destination in the future. Me. And the island, what would that be? I am. When you have sailed the entire ocean, you realize that everything you did has already nurtured you enough, but you have always searched for more and more, creating new destinations, goals, always abroad on the horizon, leaving the past behind to reach a future destination. Thus, every time you set sail from a port, instead of living in the present, you were aware of what was to come, of the future. There will come a time when it will exhaust you, and you will seek to settle down. But no place belongs to you anymore. You realize that you have spent more time sailing in the sea than in the destinations you arrived at, and for this reason, you recognize yourself as part of the sea, as part of the process, and you cannot get away from it. To continue creating destinations is to move further away from what you are, the ocean, time. So you decide to find a small island in the middle of this ocean, and instead of running, you build a house where you watch the sea around you go through you. And from there, knowing that the currents move in all directions, all the possible past, present, and future that you have visited and projected, you intend to stop running and build your home contemplating each wave, understanding that they all simply carried you. Thus, as the days go by, you detoxify yourself from the rush of linear time, and in each act, looking in each direction, you build a circular time, linked to you, in which you recognize that you can go wherever you want and whenever you want, because you realize that you were that past from which you are fleeing and that future that you are looking for. That is to say, that in each step you took, there was only what you call here and now. Me. You said that the here and now is very different from the concept of living in the present. I am. Sure, because the present is a mental concept that connects the events of the past with the decisions of the future. Who only says that you have to live in the present drawing the idea that you have to leave the past behind and let go of the future, is an irresponsible presentist who has seen time as a line and not as a fabric. In a network, you can imagine that each node or vertex is a focus of the present, and the lines of the fabric are past and future. Now, would the node exist if you remove the past and future lines? Me. No, there would be no vertex if there were no lines. It's like writing or drawing a cross. The point where both lines intersect doesn't exist if I delete the lines. I am. Well, that is the present in which you think you live. The past is a horizontal line, which could be your open arms, and the future is a vertical line, which is the rest of your body from head to toe. In the center, the heart, the present, which exists thanks to the two lines. Thus you understand that there is no present as such, and you cannot live without past or future. For this reason, the concept here and now means living in the fullness of the force of the past and the intention of the future in an instant, knowing that inside me, here, is everything I have harvested in history, which is fertilizer for the intentions that I put now for my future. You only live in the here and now when you give meaning and logic to the union of the tools of the past and the purposes of the future, joined. Me. I understand. And having said this, we can imagine that time is being, that we must order in coherence. I am. Clearly, past, present, and future are the temporal equivalent of spatial width, height, and depth, which in the basis of matter you call electron, proton, and neutron, and in the concept of creation you recognize as vibration, energy, and matter, which you humans call spirit, soul, and body, a single being projected in different triune visions which must be lived here and now in order to exist. Me. This then not only detoxifies the idea of linear time that has us slaves to doing and doing over and over again, but also detoxifies the belief that we live in a body, into which a soul enters, and that it is connected to a spirit on another higher plane, converting the three into mere aspects of a single concept. This breaks a bit the idea of working the being to connect with the spirit, or to ascend to the spiritual plane, or to believe that a body can lose its soul or be disconnected from its spirit. How is this understood? I am. The vision of navigation from an origin to a destination has been shaped in humans since the beginning of the first great drought and climate change experienced in the Pleistocene approximately 1.5 million years ago, which led them to expand, looking for food in new territories. These great migrations planted in this species the need to look for something that is not where it lives. The place where I am does not have what I am looking for, and therefore I must move until I find it. The human psyche decorated this search for food with culture and spirituality, but it also made them greedy. Once they got what they wanted, they kept looking for more and more things, pushing the limits, taking over everything they could on the outside, until they ceased to be satiated by the physical world, and they continued this search in the invisible, towards the heavens, towards the spirit. To reach the unattainable, they designed the religions, until, when they conquered the religions, they began to search for the limits of philosophy, the search for the answers within, and from there they discovered the I am, the inner power, me. All that for a drought. I am. Crises are great opportunities. But in any case, the long history of leaving one place to find another separated the horizons, dividing not only the world, but also the concepts people have of it. Thus, day was separated from night, heaven from earth, and the body from the spirit. Seeking the day, we deny the night. Seeking the sky, we deny the earth. Seeking the spirit, we deny the body. It is like the ship that leaves the port looking for a destination on the horizon, or who denies his story to start a new life, forgetting that his story will follow him everywhere, because each cell of his body contains each step lived. Me. Of course, this has made us feel imprisoned in reality, as if feeling that the body and the world is a prison from which we have to escape, free ourselves. The thought was generated that to reach the subtle plane is to abandon the dense, that in order to reach Dharma, one must eliminate karma, that in order to achieve our goals for the future, one must let go of the past, and that in order to reach the spiritual plane, there is to detach from the material. I am. When in reality, all these concepts were separated only by the human mind because they were never different things. Me. It's like when you see that the same hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen atoms can create the basis of life or a toxic element for life according to their rearrangement and bonds with other atoms, carbon and carbon dioxide, for example. I am. The spirit is not separated from the body. They are the same, in different compositions. In the same way that we have explained it with water, beyond its solid, liquid, or gaseous state, all three are water. Thus, imagine that the water is equal to the being, since the being has three states: spiritual, soul, and corporeal. Nobody goes to any spiritual plane. They only go from a corporeal state, physical, solid, to a soul state, energetic, liquid, to a spiritual one, vibrational, gaseous. Me. So, the great key to constancy is to remain in the being without seeking to get out of this reality, believing that it is a trap, but rather a simple existential state. Nope. I am. Good. As long as you believe that you are three separate things, you will never reach true wholeness. Humanity's struggles for freedom have led to the belief that reality itself is a prison from which the spirit must free itself. And having this battle as a flag is almost like saying that life on Earth is impossible because of the existence of a North Pole. That if we were free from the North Pole, surely the South Pole could create better life without the control of the North. And the truth is that life arises from both polarities, which for the universe are nothing more than the same reality attracting itself. For this reason, only by understanding the global image, by seeing the magnitude of the whole, is when you can feel that there is nowhere to go or escape, that you only have to go to the center, recognize everything that I am capable of, and expand. Me. Is that what it means to be full? I am. Fullness comes from the word plenitus, which in Latin means complete. No one will ever be complete in their life if they believe that their reality is made up of separate and opposing factors, among which, to achieve one, you must abandon the other. No one will be full in his life if he seeks to flee or tries to get to another place where he will feel better. The truth is that the potential of all origins and destinations is found within, in the ability to perceive that everything that exists is a reflection of me, and everything that exists is reflected in me. When I stop running for something and become that something, the entire universe responds accordingly. Me. That is the key to the law of being, which integrates the separate concept of the law of attraction. Thinking that I can draw things to myself when I want or need them has the same effect as thinking that I must work hard to get them, because both involve understanding the world as separate objects, only linked or disconnected by intermediate ties. I am. When in reality, the law of being, the law of one, is that to get what I want, I must become it and act in accordance and resonance. I attract what I am, not what I want. Thus, fullness and balance will come into your life when all that you thought was separate coexists as one in you. The past lives in your genetics, the future lives in the potentialities of your DNA, both coexist in what you are in the present. The spirit is the vibration that activates the energy of the molecules that you call the soul, forming the matter that you know as the body. The spirit was always in you. You don't have to find it. You have to see it, feel it, be it, and expand it from you. Me. That's why in the meditations you make us go to the breath, to the organs and blood, to the heat, and see the heat emanate to the energy field, which is the same thing that I then breathe in to activate again. It's like recycling, a circuit, circular. I am. Because the higher self is not above, it is through you. I go through you, because you are me and I am you. Me. Therefore, these 3 weeks of 10 days, we have been looking for just that, to take the first of 12 steps throughout the 12 months in the intention of being whole, of living in the here and now, recognizing that I am the Holy Trinity of spirit, soul, and body. I am. That I can live in fullness because nothing exists outside of me, because not even I exist. And that is the reason why, with consciousness, I can recreate myself, re-emerge, knowing that I do not have to achieve more than being me myself. Because if I achieve being, the entire universe will express itself through me. That is the greatest of freedoms. Me. Thank you. I thus close my first cycle, the I Can path under the essence of the Leo constellation, recognizing the greatness that lies in my being, recognizing that I can be the whole universe. And I am about to integrate the 3 bodies into what they are, unity. I am. And so you will now be able to begin to put order into each of your full aspects. Welcome to the fullness of the here and now. Welcome to the order of this new cycle in which you must analyze each potential in you. Welcome to the second cycle under the mantle of the Virgo constellation. Me. I am wholeness.